Welcome to Bear Facts on Guns, where host Derek Baer and his guests are locked and loaded to educate, inspire, and answer your questions about firearms. Tonight, hold on, Facebook. This is educational. Ready, aim, Derek.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ken. As always, I have Tom with me here from On Target in Crystal Lake. Always a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks you so much for joining again.
Much obliged.
What do we have on the table, man? I'm a little nervous right now. It's scary.
It's very assaulting.
It's very assaulting.
Do
you feel scared, Tom?
Yeah.
It's not like you're around these things all day.
I'm My nerves are shaky right now.
They're shaky
I got sweaty palms. I'm just I've never been in the presence of something so assaulting.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
It's big. It's black.
I've seen better.
It's got lights on it.
Yeah.
Just for gun enthusiasts out there, hey Kiki, how are you? My wife always new shirt. Also, every week she presents me with a new shirt with some gun themed thing. She's just keeping my swag level higher.
I think she'd take the sleeves off, Tom, for the gun show.
You got to have guns, physical guns. So I mean, I have fat things on the side of me I can call.
That's it.
Just kidding. For the gun enthusiasts out there, that's really been well. Hi, Mary. How are you? There is no magazines. There's no live ammunition on set at all. Both. What am I looking at?
You're supposed to show the back of this shirt.
Show back of what?
The shirt.
Oh, I got to do that? Okay, I can do that. I don't know if you can. Can you read it?
Gun control, using both hands, hitting your target every time, buying one when you really want 2, 3, 4, or 5.
So every show I'll jump in and kind of go through some of that too. But real quick, I just want to go through some safety stuff just in case anybody's watching. It is safety. We have a safety lock on the AR right now. We've cleared both weapons. I've had Tom go through and verify that both weapons are clear, and you can see inside the chambers there's no live ammunition in there as well. So welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be here.
Yeah.
Busy week as usual, doing a lot of training.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it. So what classifies this as an assault rifle?
Nothing.
Cool.
It's not an assault rifle. It's not an assault rifle. It looks all mean and scary for those who don't know all the bells and whistles that are going on it. But let's take a look. All right. Let's see. First of all, okay, I see safe and I see fire, semi only. I don't see automatic. And like we discussed last week about the first assault rifle, which was a magazine-fed Sturmgewehr. Back at the tail end of World War II. Okay? Luckily, with the Waffen-SS didn't have that at the early part of the war, but that fired fully automatic, and it was magazine fed.
Yep.
So this is one shot at a time, one finger press at a time. Notice I say press, not pull, not squeeze, not jerk. But I want you to think about something as far as the amount of rounds that go out. And, I'm not dispelling the horrific acts that have been carried out with any guns at all. And my heart goes out. Our hearts bleed and cry for all those who have been hurt unjustly by firearms. And, but when you look at things objectively, let's say you have a magazine, not a clip, a magazine that you insert, you work the bolt, and you rack in a round into the chamber, and you start pressing rounds down range. Let's say that you have 20 rounds. Boom, 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 boom. On a sustained rate of fire, okay, about 10 seconds later, you're done with 20 rounds. Okay, they want to outlaw this. Now, let's take the shotgun. When you have the anti-gunners who say, well, maybe we'll just take away your assault rifles and your high magazine, high capacity handguns. But no, you could have your shotguns. Well, what do you think the bad guys are going to do? they're going to use a shotgun. I want you to think about this, folks. If you're using, for example, a 12 gauge shotgun, that maybe in the new Biden plan might be allowed, okay? If you are using a 12 gauge shotgun and you're using 2 3/4 inch shell, double odd buck means that there are 9 pellets inside that shell. That's 32 caliber pellets, each one. It's a little sphere, about 32 caliber roughly is the dimension of it. So every time you take a shot, let's say in 1.5 seconds with that shotgun, if it's semi-automatic, boom, 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 27 pellets, 32 caliber just went downrange. Okay, that's a hell of a lot more firepower than this guy, this semi-automatic AR. So if they outlaw these, bad guys will get their hands on the shotguns because it gives them more firepower to create more death, more destruction, more bodily injury than this guy ever will.
So for a lot of us who get our education from the news and from Hollywood, that gun there that's resting there that you were just talking about looks like the same one that isn't semi-automatic. So when this comes on the news, Tom, all that I know is that looks like the same one that is, cutting a car in half.
Yeah. Well, the looks are the same. The military version, the police version is the M4.
Okay.
That makes it fully automatic. And I believe the M4 has 3-round bursts. They have a selector for 3-round bursts. So the troops aren't hosing a whole house down and burning through valuable ammo.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one doesn't have that. There's no 3-round burst here. It's just one trigger press, 1 round.
I have a question. Can I make that fully automatic? Physically?
Yeah.
It depends if you're a good machinist, if you can work the trigger sear, and you could turn it fully automatic. Yes, but then you're a criminal. It's illegal.
It's a felony, right?
It's a felony.
Yeah.
So, yes, we can do a lot of things, but that makes it a felony. Someone says in the range, I'm at an outdoor range, they go, well, what if someone just takes the gun and starts shooting over the berm? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen.
And someone gets killed. That's manslaughter.
Yes, it is.
Because you had a place to shoot. You chose your own actions. And that's the part that is omitted
100%.
From all the acts of violence is the actions of a human being. We are given free will. You want me to get biblical? Well, it goes back to Adam days and Eve. Okay, we're given free will. That's what separates us. So how is it this guy's fault? Because it looks mean? No.
Yeah.
I know a lot of what's that one dog then? Not the Doberman Pinscher.
Yeah,
looks mean.
the pit bull,
but
now,
pit
right?
bull
Yeah.
looks mean.
Pit bulls,
But
Doberman
some of them are the nicest dogs you ever want to meet. So you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't judge a rifle just by looking at it. It's the person behind it. I had a guy come in to the range the other day, and he said, "What's your most accurate firearm?" And I said, "None of them are accurate. None of them. They're really not accurate. If they were to go off by themselves, I don't know where it's going to go. Okay, you, sir, you make it accurate.
Yep.
That's what makes an accurate gun. In the same way, a bad person turns a good person's gun into a method of dispelling death."
And I just want to throw out there real quick, too, because we're going to leave these out the entire show. Number one, I'm going to test Facebook here because I've disclosed exactly our intentions with displaying these. And I've also explained the intentions that I have no live rounds on set. I'm really curious to see how Facebook's going to ping this in what way or not. I do have a very quick question here. So I want to talk about my AR here. So this is a DS Arms. I bought it locally in Lake Barrington. And great place, great, inexpensive, entry-level AR. It's not the top of the line. It's also not the bottom of the line. Has exactly what I wanted to do, which is literally just to go to the range and put rounds downrange. I'm not going out trying to hunt with this thing.
Okay.
I didn't buy the most expensive scope for it or the most expensive lights or any kind of bells and whistles to it. I love the look of this. It's mine. I built and put accessories on this. I put things together on it. Can it be better? Can it be higher end? I don't care. It's a 5.56. It's not a 223. It does take 223. I bought 5.56 because you can use 5.56 or 223. So I can, when there's different ammos available or different price structures, I can use both of them in whatever I'm doing to. My question is, next to it is my concealed carry every day, which is a Smith & Wesson Shield 9mm. Which one's more deadly?
It depends on the shooter. It depends on the shooter and their ability to hit their mark and send down a number of rounds. There are some guys, I mean, let's look at the Virginia Tech shooter who had a 22 caliber semi-automatic, and he killed 33 people.
Yeah.
Didn't have an AR, but he was able to put down a lot of rounds very fast. And most of the people, they thought, hey, what is this? Is some kind of joke? It's on a college campus. So first you have denial. This can't be happening. Okay. Next on the list, after denial, you have panic. Well, this is really happening. It's time to panic. And then there's acceptance. Okay, I have to do something about it, and resolution. Okay, how do I turn the tide? Either by running, hiding, or fighting.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what a lot of folks did that day, unfortunately, and lost a lot of lives.
Yeah.
But it wasn't one of these guys. It was a handgun. It was operated very quickly by the shooter.
So, and again, a lot of the anti-gunners and people who believe that these should be outlawed, perhaps the only gun that they had was their water pistol, right? Every little kid,
BB gun, Red Ryder,
right? And that rifle right there, it weighs how much? It's a heavy gun, right?
fully loaded, about 11 pounds.
11 pounds. So that's like carrying 3-4 jugs of milk, right? So when I see on the news or I hey, he came in and he had an AR, and I'm like, it's not quite that easy of a weapon to just go
Manhandle
Rambo on or whatever, right? Yeah.
And this is going to sit here the whole show.
Yeah.
And it's not going to, I'm actually going to talk trash to it because it's a piece of steel.
Yeah.
And you're not the best. You're actually on the economy side of things. So you could be better, dude.
It's the finest in mediocrity.
Yeah, exactly.
I
just want to talk crap to it.
There's usually a couple better.
I'm waiting for it to get up.
Yeah.
Make its own decisions, make its own conscious decisions to load a magazine that's not here, to be able to undo that safety and lock that I have inside the bolt action and do something about it. And let's be real, it's not going to happen.
Its demeanor hasn't changed.
I have to make that conscious decision to do that. I have to be pushed in a way. I have to mentally not be stable to be able to make that conscious decision to take someone's life. And you're right. My hearts go out for every single situation.
So,
we have 2 bad situations that just recently happened where police officers have discharged firearms in a manner that has taken life, right? And I'm going to let you sit on that with another show because we're not going to jump into the political side of things.
So early in the history of this country, the tomahawk was actually a pretty bad weapon. And now there's bars that you can throw these things at, right?
So true.
while drunk.
But nobody really seems to have a problem with that. Now, if somebody shows up drunk to the firing range, I'm sure they don't show up drunk to the firing range, or they go home quick. Right?
We had a few.
Yeah,
we had a few.
Good.
We have one individual who'll show up once a year, and I get smelling on his breath. And I will say, hey, let's just say Joe. Okay,
Joe, yeah.
I'll say, so Joe, what are you going to do here today? And he'll say, well, I was gonna shoot. Joe, why don't you come on over to the couch over here? Not today. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Joe, you're liquored up. No, that was last night. You're still liquored up. Okay. VO in your Wheaties doesn't count.
Right.
No, Wheaties would be too healthy for Joe. Okay.
For sure.
All right. So, but
Right.
anyway, no.
Yeah, so
obviously,
that's why I say it's interesting what's acceptable and what's not in
Right.
today's society. Now, I haven't been to an axe throwing
I'm going Tuesday,
bar.
actually.
Is that right? Funny that I brought it up
it's
then.
perfect,
I had no idea.
Super excited.
But some of the reason is I chop wood. I'm an outdoors guy. I chop wood. I got knives, and I understand how dangerous they can be. And I don't know if I want to be around a bunch of drunk idiots whipping axes.
Well, they're all in a cage. Okay,
Yeah.
they put them in a cage one at a time. So if that's gonna bounce off, if the axe rotates and doesn't hit the blade into the round of wood, then it bounces back. They're the only person that's going to get hurt, actually. Yeah. So it's the same thing when someone is doing a holster draw on Tuesday night in our rifle range. We give him the whole lane, and it's totally safe. He's totally enclosed in there. So if there was a mishap, which there had never been, he's only going to hurt himself. In the same way with the axe throwing. So.
And that Tammy Overslaw Warden is actually my mother.
Hey.
Hi, Mom. And she was actually on the show last time, but I missed her comments last time, so I do apologize. Hi, Mom. I hope you're feeling good and fully vaccinated properly.
Why you go there?
I don't know.
Why you go
I just do it real quick. And Mary Shep, 100% true. Axe throwing is fun. I can't wait to do it. I'm excited to see the experience. I'm excited to see how it works, how everything goes together. And obviously, I'll give you guys feedback next week.
Take a little video.
When I come back and see, I can definitely take a video of it and go from there. So Mary brought up another point, too, and we were talking. I had a Doberman for 11 and a half years. He was my pride and joy. Look at my mom. She says rude. Yes, I know I'm being rude. I love you, Mom. I got to give you crap. Right. You're my mom. And you know who I am. So
don't say that word in front of your mom.
Jeez.
I said the SHIT word in front of my grandma on Facebook the other day, and I felt so bad about it. I lost my train of thought with this. So we had a Doberman for 11 and a half years. My Doberman was ears cropped, tail docked, completely jacked.
Yeah.
It was an extremely well-trained dog. The amount of people that were visibly scared of my Doberman was incredible. And he was the nicest dog in the world.
Doberman's usually,
And he would also be extremely protective. And it was all based on how you perceived yourself and how your confidence was. If you came up, my wife took him on a walk once, and 3 individuals walked up to her and was like, "Hey, girl, how you doing?" The cat calling, right? My Doberman just showed teeth. Didn't growl, showed teeth. Hi, yeah.
She's mine.
You don't want to go down this path right now. So I think there's a feeling of sense on there as well. And at the end of the day, Mary said Chihuahua is the meanest dogs and bite most people. For those of you who don't know, I actually ran a vet's office for a number of years. And the only dog I ever got bit by was a Maltese. And they bit both my fingers at the same time. And it was me trying to save the dog from jumping off the table. And it was me trying to, make sure it had a cancerous tumor on its vulva. And we were trying to get a biopsy of it to verify what it was. And I had it hold in, and it slipped through one hand. It bit my finger. I let go. I grabbed it again. It turned around and bit my other finger, and I still held onto the dog because, number one, it wasn't my dog, and I'm not going to let this dog fall off the table, and this thing could bite me 20 times, and it's fine. Now, Rottweilers, I've had incidents where, and there's a couple bites that happen and stuff like that, 99.9% of the time, you're provoking the dog in some way, shape, or form that's not uncomfortable. It's in a weird place. It smells weird. There's a whole bunch of other smells, and they're territorial animals. You have working class dogs, and you have regular family dogs. I have seen more vicious family dogs than working dogs. Working dogs work. That's it. It's all about the training that comes down to it as well. And that brings me back to training with guns. If we teach everyone and our kids and our family and use proper training, these aren't scary at all. They shouldn't be. You shouldn't be nervous about being in the same room with one of these. You shouldn't be nervous when you have somebody who's well trained in that as well. Tom, give me a little bit about your background and where you're from, what you've done, and military-wise, I guess, and that's it.
Okay.
If you don't mind, obviously.
All right. You put me on the spot. And
I did.
there.
I threw you on the spot there.
All right.
You went
Well,
off script.
let's go back. In 1976, I didn't go to Vietnam because of a medical reason. I was too young. But I joined the military anyway. I ran off and joined the Marine Corps. And then I got out, and in the Marines, that's where I got my love of the outdoors because I was doing jungle patrols in the Philippines. And we were, at the time, there was an insurgency with the New People's Army. So they sent the Marines out there, live action patrols. We were lock and loaded with M14s. And at the time, I trained with an M16 in boot camp. Then I get out to the fleet or the barracks duty in Subic Bay, Philippines. Then they throw me an M14, which I really preferred. I mean, if you look classic rifle up in the dictionary, the picture of an M14 or an M1 Garand. I mean, just beautiful shooters, straight shooters. But anyway, after that, then we went to, after my tour as active duty, took advantage of the GI Bill, went to college, worked on a master's in political science, international relations. My thesis was on the Contra movement in Central America. I actually went there. And then somehow I got picked up for a job in Africa. And then from there with the government, it was a security contracting job, Africa. Learned to speak Swahili.
Holy cow.
And
we're just peeling the layers back of time real quick here. This is incredible. I'm learning so much about it.
You want to save something?
Oh, man.
All right,
Yes.
I'll just give you, let me wind it up
Yeah,
real
okay, cool.
quick.
All right, sounds
And
good.
after there, I was recruited by the U.S. State Department, and then I did some really nice tours in Beirut and South America, Central America. And then I left to be a wilderness guide. And
There it
then,
is right there.
and then after that, then 9/11 happened, and they sucked me back in, and I've been out again for another 10 years overseas, working back South America, Africa, Middle East.
Mhm.
And before on target, I was in Baghdad.
Holy moly.
So,
I mean, I can't say
Now that-
anything but thank you for your service.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
the reason that we have freedom in America. He's the reason that, I can tell you honestly, sitting next to Tom and getting to know Tom as time goes on, yeah, I always feel comfortable around you. I would proudly stand next to you on a range. I would proudly stand next to you on anywhere that would involve any kind of firearms, weapons, or anything like that. And he would be one of the guys that I'd be really happy to have if something happened in the grocery store and he's standing next to me. So, God forbid anything like that. Obviously, we don't need anything happening out there too. My mother is actually, I was born in Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix, Arizona. My mom was in the Air Force, and that's where I was born. So she has some military experience as well. I never asked her how much she shot before in her life, and I need to do that. I'll do that and report back if she wants to disclose how many firearms training she's got, because she didn't shoot that much growing up. I don't remember this. It was always Grandpa. Grandpa was always the one to take us out shooting and backwoods and stuff like that. So
So I want to go back to what you brought up earlier about the shotgun and
Pellets.
the pellets. So why? I mean, we know that, we see that. I've hunted grouse and pheasant, right? And you got the bird shot, the pellets, and all that good stuff. But why then do people think that this is a better way to go for obviously assaulting?
Well, probably because you have a rifle round traveling at 2,800 feet per second. So the penetration ability is greater on this guy here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking around, and that'd be funny if someone knocked back. That's drywall.
hello.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Yes.
I mean, your handgun and this guy would go through it like butter, a couple walls, and would stop in the cement wall on the other side. This guy would go through probably a couple, maybe three of these walls before it slows down a little bit. But this guy would need cement to stop it. We ran a ballistic Mythbusters. That was the name of the class.
Yeah.
Ballistic Mythbusters.
That's awesome.
And we shot all kinds of stuff. thick books to show
Sure.
people, all right, yeah, if you hold a book there, it'll stop a 9mm, right? It'll stop a 22. It's not going to stop one of these. So penetration wise, yes, this becomes a more deadlier firearm platform. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just think about we have this conversation in the green room before, and we're talking about double out buck, and
Yeah.
I have shotguns too. I just think about birdshot. I mean, if your really intention is to harm, and you have open structure with no walls and you're just in a crowded place, like a buckshot's going to do way more damage and cause residual effects and problems more so than one shot at a time, which obviously is traveling very fast. But I just don't see. Is that shotgun now an assault shotgun? Assault, what was that classified?
There's a sawed-off shotgun and assault rifle.
Yeah. No, its intention. Assault is not
Correct.
Is not a
It's
physical.
intention.
It's intent, right? And you said it beautifully a couple of shows ago of what assault meant. We kind of broke that down as well. Being an educational show and what we're educating on, what's the safest way? Let me back up for a second. So we were talking off here a couple minutes ago about gun owners not racking things properly or anything like that. I don't know if you want to get into it now or if you want to get into it a little bit later of how to handle, because that M&P shield has a real nasty, heavy spring inside of it. Not easy. It's very hard to cock, very hard to rack that if you're not used to holding things properly.
Yeah. When I talk to people about semi-automatics, I kind of steer them in the direction of going for a medium to larger frame gun, simply because you can get more flesh on it, and it stays in control. I've seen 25 caliber pimp guns go flying out of the hands of big, strong men because it's a tiny gun and they got to operate this tiny little slide to chamber the first round. Okay. So I want more metal so I can get my hands on it a little bit better.
Okay.
Now I could work with this easy. This is not bad. It has a nice flat slide for you to get your hands on. It's doable. And if you want, I'll go ahead and let me demonstrate how to rack around.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll aim off in this direction.
Yep.
Right.
And just
this is the designated safe direction.
Yep. So everything else in the office here, guys, we have offices behind us. In front of us, we have a concrete wall, and we have absolutely no obstructions after that concrete wall in case something happens. Obviously, there's no round in here, and we have no live ammunition. So I want to make sure
no live ammunition. Just a live show, everybody, right here at 21.6 The Net.
So, yeah.
Well, this is the first thing you do. I mean, you're going to check. You're going to look down in the chamber. You don't see anything. Some people put their pinky in there. Go ahead, look in there. You have no magazine in the magazine well, right? So right away you can say that there's nothing in there. Now, the best way to hand the gun to somebody is not to hand the gun to somebody. Okay?
True.
If I want to hand the gun to you, okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to rack it with the muzzle in a safe direction. Okay? I check it. I hand it here. I put it on a level spot.
Yep.
If you're in the woods, different story. I get it. You might have to hand it to someone. Keep the muzzle in a safe direction. But I tell my students, find a level spot, put it down, and let the people pick it up. That way you don't have one of those mishaps where you're handing a gun, they drop it, and you say, well, I thought you had it. Well, no, this eliminates that whole deal. Now, let me tell you a story about the racking of that first round into the chamber. We call it racking. You can say loading and making ready, chambering around, charging it. There's a number of really cool terms. I just say lock and load. I like the old John Wayne, lock and load, which actually comes from the M1 Garand. There's another version that goes back to the muzzle loader, but the one I know is the M1 Garand, where you would lock the charging handle and then load your clip of 8 rounds, and a charging handle will go forward. You just chambered your first round.
It's just so cool to think about that. Like his actions, I can see his face light up. By the way, for those of you who can't see, obviously 1080p camera, but for listening, his face, he's smiling like a kid in a candy store.
That's right.
Because it's so cool. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm excited. That's cool.
I'm all full of trivia.
Yeah.
I led a very trivial life.
You have tons of knowledge. I love every part of your information. It's insane. So it's great. Keep
All right. So moving on. Let me tell you a story about a lady who came in and she said, "I don't want any more of these semi-automatic. Get me a revolver." And I go, "Well, what's the problem? What's the problem? I thought you originally came in for a semi-auto."
Kiki, I want you to listen, please, while we talk about this.
Honey,
Cool.
pay attention.
Yeah. Go ahead. This is my wife, by the way.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw that out there. This is not who he's talking
Right.
about, but this is somewhere.
And she said, after I asked her, "Why do you want to get rid of your semi-auto?" She says, "I want a revolver because I can't work that darn slide on my semi-auto." Okay, she's a middle-aged lady, maybe didn't work out too much in her hands.
Sure.
Everyone's doing this nowadays. Everyone should have the thickest, toughest thumbs in the world because they're all going like
Professional
this.
textures, keyboard warriors.
Yeah, but then they all wake up with stiff necks because they're like
That's
this
right.
across the intersection. So anyway, I say, "Madam, go ahead and show me how you put around the chamber." Okay, so she went like this. She went like this. I could do it when it's like that, but I can't when it's forward. I can't work it like that. I go, "Okay, first of all, that's the wrong way to do it. Second of all, I'm going to show you the right way to do it,
Sure.
where you're going to employ leverage." Okay? So what I want you to do, if this is down range, right, safe area, I want you to take it, firearm, aim it down range, finger off the trigger. Right? Now, I want you to angle your body just like this. You could bring it in here, and you could even turn perpendicular from downrange. So the muzzle is still downrange. And then all you have to do, you insert your mag, and then grab it, not using the slingshot method, that, with your two fingers, that slingshot. Go ahead and put your support hand in my way. It's my left hand. You cup it over the slide. You have these serrations, these little trenches in the back here, and go ahead and you grab it, and just like that. When it's close to you, close to your body, you get more leverage, and that muzzle doesn't move. It stays downrange, doesn't it?
Beautiful.
Just like that. Angle here, back, but it's easier. Face to your right, look downrange. Just like that. You got it close to you. The lady tried it. It worked. She loved it. She goes, "Oh, now I don't have to buy a revolver." Okay.
And by the way, revolvers are so cool. And look at my wife is already saying that as well. It's just your gun.
All right. So as the producer, and I want people to understand, the producer's booth is straight across from. So Derek's looking right at me. So through that whole thing, while Tom's talking and doing this, I'm looking to see if that gun twists just a little bit. So, and all I can think about is like if you go and watch Little League baseball, it's kind of bad, and then you go to the pros and you're like, man, these guys are incredible. Not once did that gun ever look anywhere other than into the safe area, and he's talking to you, not looking, and I'm
Sure.
It's amazing. So it's literally like sitting here watching a couple pro ball players doing their thing because you guys have practiced and you've got that skill. So when it's live and I'm in that room, and I don't own guns again. Remember that, right? I'm marveled at it. I'm just like not once.
Shotguns?
Oh yeah. I've been hunting.
You've owned guns before or not?
No.
Sorry to get personal on you.
Just a BB gun,
Okay.
But no, it's just been my choice not to own guns, and but I've gone hunting and used other people's guns and things of that nature. But yeah,
Let me tell you something right now. The toughest thing to teach, for it to imprint on that mind of a new shooter, the toughest thing is muzzle awareness. And the key word that we use at the range is muzzle cognizance, being cognizant at all times.
Wow.
And that's tough for some people, especially when you're a little bit older and you're just getting
Right.
into it because you're watching the TV and you've seen all the riots and you're 55, 60, and you say, hey, honey, we got to defend ourselves. Get Uncle Elmo's old revolver that he went up San Juan Hill with Teddy Rosa.
Yeah.
Bring that down. We'll have them on-target boys oil it up for it.
That's right.
All right, but we got to know how to use the darn thing. But that's the toughest thing is muzzle awareness, especially with handguns. Why? The barrel's only about 4 inches long.
Well, sure, and I've been paintballing, so when you're paintballing, nobody pays attention to that stinking thing, until they're it's everywhere. So it's just very interesting. I mean, it was just really cool. And before the show, ladies and gentlemen, I moved something off of the desk, and I was headed in the direction of the two guns. And Derek's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I was just putting it over here. That's all.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to just pull this out because we're talking about barrel size. I'm just going to field strip this right now. Every part of what you just said is exactly, obviously, on point for what I'm always aware of where my barrel is pointed. Do you know why? I own whatever happens at the end of that barrel. I own wherever that happens, whatever mistake, whatever accident. So I'm going to say an accident because my intent would never be to shoot somebody that doesn't have the intention of killing me or my family in the right situation. Obviously, shield, not a weapon, not a sword. It's a shield, not a sword. So I understand it. I pay attention to that kind of stuff too. So field stripping this is quite simple. You guys just saw I kind of took it apart as we were talking here as well. I clean this every time I go to the range. I will oil this. I'll make sure not to over oil it, which is a big part of what I was taught in concealed carry. Because when I was a new gun owner, I would just like throw as much oil on there, and man, that thing was quiet. Yeah, it didn't make any noise when I racked it. I'm like, yeah, and there's oil pouring out the side of my gun on that kind of side. So that's the size of your barrel. That's it, and a handgun. Obviously, there's a big difference from the AR and the length of the barrel too, but that's literally what you need to pay attention to.
Yeah, you're gonna have some listeners saying that's the size of your barrel.
It's cold in here, everybody. We got the air conditioning on.
I'm not trying to hide anything with anything.
He's an innie, not an outie.
Yeah, exactly. So knowing each part of your firearm, of your gun that you own, knowing every inch of it, understanding how clean it, how to field strip it, is crucial in gun ownership. And being cognizant. When you drive a car, do you drive down the right side of the road?
In America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barrel's got to be pointed down range. That's it. It's as simple as that. You drive in one direction, you stay in that direction, you don't jump into the other opposite side of the traffic. You drive down the same side you always drive down. You always pay attention. Well, this is as deadly as you make it. And the same with your vehicle. Mm-hmm. Vehicle is the same way as well. So you just always have to be as understanding and practice as much safety as you possibly can. Again, you own this. You own everything that you do with this thing. It's not a simple decision. It's not a quick, fast thing. And we had Magda here a couple shows ago, and she had brought up that she has her concealed carry, but she doesn't carry every day because she's not ready to do with holster training before she's ready to do it. Those are responsible gun owners. Mm-hmm. Those people care about making sure they understand. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you the amount of times I sit at home on my couch, still my barrel pointed downrange, away from my wife, away from my family, away from pets, all that kind of stuff, and practice. Practice racking. I practice every part of what I do with this. I practice at home with no bullets, not loaded, no clips in it, no rounds in it, nothing. It makes me comfortable with it because I know exactly where my trigger pull hits, where this has a secondary safety on it, so there's a safety on the side, a thumb safety on it, and it has a trigger safety as well. I know exactly where I can pull this back, and I can still feel it because it just hit it. I can feel exactly where my trigger hits before that's going to actually hit the hammer and make a round go downrange. So when you pull it out, and I've practiced so many times, holster at my house, empty clip, nothing in a gun, where I just pull it out and I practice right away. Okay, I'm quick. Okay, cool. I'm on finger. I'm ready to go. Okay. I'm not pulling the trigger or pressing the trigger. Tom's already teaching me stuff here, and I love it. I've called it pull my whole life. And
yeah, you really don't pull it.
No, you can push it. But I can feel exactly where that hits and know it perfectly. And the same with my AR, too. I've put thousands of rounds on this rifle.
Stupid AR.
To understand every part of what I do with this firearm as well.
So brand new to gun ownership.
Mhm.
How often do you go to the range? How often? I coach basketball, so I'm like, man, you guys spend at least an hour or two a day practicing. So I end up purchasing a firearm for protection. And how often should I practice?
Initially, after your first class, never shot a gun before, you take your first class, whatever it might be, whether it's a private lesson, whether it's a more official class like our guys and guns, gals and guns, gun couples. Then afterward, I would say once a week, at least for a month,
Okay.
go out there. I mean, I'm not going to say every day, but at least once a week, because I know especially ammo is
It's
hard to
getting
get.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have it, and we're trying really hard, to keep our prices lower than what you're going to get online. And it is, but it trickles in.
Yeah.
And instead of just blowing through a high quantity of rounds downrange and learning little, I'd be more judicious in doing dry fire at home. That way you get your sight alignment down, you get your trigger press down.
When you say dry fire, what is that?
Without live rounds.
Okay.
You could use dummy rounds, snap caps, fake rounds, that kind of thing that we sell.
I'll bring one next show.
Okay, yeah, cool.
But I have them at home. They're red. They have a spring inside. They actually have. They look just like a 9mm, and I put them in. You can rack them every single time. Pull the trigger, rack it. Pull the trigger, rack it. Pull the trigger.
Nothing flies out.
Oh,
it comes out.
It ejects out of there. Yeah. I'll bring them in. They have springs in them now, so they protect.
So it's like shooting a Nerf bullet or something.
There's nothing that comes out of the end of the barrel.
Oh, really?
It's nothing. It's not shooting anything.
Oh, weird.
It's for manipulation and practice. You'd be surprised how many people have a hard time loading a magazine. It's hard for people.
It's not easy to do.
Yeah, and if you're older, if you're older and you got arthritis, I see people struggling.
Sure.
I say this to new gun owners: if you got a semi-automatic, you should, without the help of a Uplula loader, speed loader, you should be able to load it at least 5 rounds on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you got to get your hands in shape somewhat. And in a pinch, if you run out of ammo, you got to at least, you can't find that loader. You're probably not going to have that loader with you, but you might have a pocket full of extra rounds. You got to put at least 5 rounds in there and have the muscle strength to do that. A lot of people don't have that strength.
Nope.
Okay, so no sport. There isn't one sport that says just come as you are and you'll be an expert the second you start playing it. Every sport demands the use of certain muscle groups. For tennis, you got your shoulder, you got your backhand, you got your thighs, you got your calves. Football, you got your whole body, your brawn. For shooting, why a lot of people gravitate towards shooting in their golden years is because they don't have to run 100 yards. Maybe in our tactical classes you do.
Right.
But for your standard coming to the range, popping off a few rounds downrange, no. All you have to do is manipulate the gun and doing it safely. And proper manipulation is an attribute of gun safety.
Sure.
So if you don't have the strength to operate the gun, unsafe things happen. And that's when people are working to clear a malfunction. And what goes out the window? Cognizance.
Yeah.
Muzzle awareness. As they take the gun, I'm going to use a pen to simulate someone at the line who has a jam, and they forgot what to do if they have a jam. And they're trying to work it, and that gun starts going here, going there. Oh, I got to look for some more light. I'm going to go over here trying to clear that jam. They forget all about the safety aspect, and that's because they're not physically deft enough to go ahead and operate and manipulate the gun. So please, folks, all right, all you got to do. You don't have to work out with weights, but you still have got to squeeze a ball, squeeze a tennis ball while you're watching, the History Channel. Okay,
DIY, whatever.
I don't
Seriously.
not
Or
count,
you
not
can watch,
counting cards.
while you're watching us.
Or watching
it's a great
us.
time.
Yeah,
to,
watching, listening to 21.6 of that.
Yeah, squeeze a ball and get those fingers in shape so you can manipulate that slide.
Mhm.
So you go ahead, you know how to tap, rack, bang, clear a malfunction, and so you can load your ammo.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's cool.
And it's funny because that is really simple to load for me versus this shield, which is actually more difficult.
It's easier to put 20 rounds in a magazine than it is to load up the 6 rounds in that.
And what's the
in that
difference
shield.
between a magazine and a clip?
Good question. Because we get it all the time. We're correcting people all
Yeah.
the time. A clip holds a few rounds together, okay? But it has open end on both ends. Now, the M1 Garand, that is our U.S. rifle that won World War II.
Yeah.
Because the Germans and the Japanese, the rank and file troops were still using bolt action rifles. Boom.
And by the way, I am bringing my bolt action 308 next week.
Nice.
There you go.
So we'll talk about that.
It takes a little bit more time, whereas if you insert the clip from the old adage lock and load, all right? So charging handle, load the clip, 8 rounds in an M1 Garand. And then charging handle goes forward, you put one in the chamber. Now it's a semi-automatic rifle.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom. Okay? A lot quicker than working that bolt. That's a clip. It's just a small metal, I wouldn't say container,
Right.
but little platform that you can place the 8 rounds
Stage some bullets.
and put it in there. When you get your bandolier of M1, when you're issued them out, they come already in the clip.
Okay.
Okay? Put it down, lock and load. Okay? Whereas the magazine is Latin for box o' bullets. Okay? Don't look it up. Don't Google. Just take my
It's got
word for
so
it.
much
It's
grit
amazing,
now.
right?
It's incredible.
Just
It's awesome.
Latin box of bullets. That's all you need to know. But look at how a magazine's kind of like a box. When I was working in the Philippines, they said, all right, boy, you're going to go out there in the jungle. You're going to patrol the naval magazine. Naval magazine? What is it? Are you going to give me Playboy?
Yeah.
What's the magazine? I only know a magazine. A magazine means a container of something.
Okay.
Whether it's information, such as a paper magazine, or ammunition. We were protecting out in the jungle. We were protecting ordnance from the 7th Fleet or the whole Pacific Fleet, whatever it was, 7th, I think. But anyway, that's what was out there. It's called a magazine. So it's a container for cartridges, the proper terminology. The bullet is only the projectile that goes downrange. In its entirety, it's a cartridge.
Okay.
So
Cool.
that's what it is.
It's incredible information. Thank you so much for that. Tom, how do they get a hold of you? Where's your place? What's your address? And
I don't text, okay? I still got a flip phone, and I only have it because in the white man's world, they made me have it, right?
Yeah.
So I have to do it to sustain my job and be in contact with people. But there's my card right there, and it's 84. Hold it still.
I can't.
Hold it still, Kent. Come on.
Man, I don't think he was a surgeon in his previous life.
815-477-2020. It doesn't have a jingle yet. Okay. And give me a call, ask for me, and we'll set up a private class or ask me about any other classes, that kind of thing. We're located right here in Crystal Lake, Illinois at 560 Beechcraft, like the airplane, not the sand. And that's probably, as the crow flies, about, 3 miles that away, southwest. Okay. As I can see through the window, the sun is setting over the range right now.
Nice.
Okay.
So the shaky hand, that's why I choose not to have a gun. I'm worse than Barney Fife.
Oh, believe me, I've seen a lot worse.
So,
Yeah.
Ken broke the video with the card. No, it's
I
fixed. It
did.
just has autofocus. Art.
That's right.
And Art talked about we need to ban assault trains that kill people.
Yeah.
Metro just killed
Oh,
another
boy.
person 2 days ago.
Oh.
It's so bad.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not good.
They're fast though. They move just as fast as a
It's,
bullet sometimes. Some of
Yeah,
those.
and it takes forever to stop them.
That's why it's called a
hit
bullet
brakes.
train.
A bullet train.
Yeah.
I do have some really cool news. I have 12 women interested in a concealed carry class with On Target.
Are they nicknamed the Dirty Dozen?
We can nickname them whatever we want to nickname them.
Okay.
I've got
that's great.
emails from that as well.
Great.
So we'll talk obviously in the green room here after the show and set that up. But they like the information that you have. They feel comfortable enough to allow you guys to teach them a concealed carry class. Some have FOID cards, some don't have FOID cards. Some own firearms, some have never touched them. So we're going to have kind of a cool,
That's cool.
mix of people, and then we're going to bring them in and talk about how their experience was and their fears going into it and how we overcome those fears and what their feelings are on owning a firearm. Number one, being a female. Some are realtors, some are business owners, some are just moms at home with their husbands are working and they're just stay-at-home moms. So it's kind of a cool. We've gotten some different things with that has really opened up some different things. I've had some great conversations, which I'm really excited about because everyone tells me their gun stories now. Oh, my dad was a police officer or this and that. And I grew up with guns, and there's so much more training all the time. I'm never going to be done. I wouldn't consider myself a pro. I don't go to the range every single day. I don't never wanted to be broke as can be trying to afford ammo right now. But I'm aware of what I'm doing every single day with my firearm. When I carry, I don't think about it every second of the day. It's just there. It's a part of me. It's like my cell phone, but a cell phone that's deadly. So push comes to shove. If you are uncomfortable in any way, shape, or forms, seek out more training. Tom offers some really good training courses out there too.
The concealed carry class is 16 hours, 8 hours one day. I mean, if you want to, unless you break it up, some classes I've done 4 hours a week with certain classes. That's all they could spare. One night a week for 4 hours, 4 weeks, a whole month. But we mostly teach the full 16 hours in 2 days, 8 hours on a weekend or a Monday, Tuesday, about 4 times a month, depending. Now, what's interesting about the concealed carry class is the wealth of knowledge about not only the guns, but the ammunition, about safety, about how our range works. That's all the first day. And the second day is about all the laws and then all the stories that you're going to hear from our instructors who a lot of them are retired, or 2 of them are retired law enforcement, military, that kind of thing. One of them, just great stories. They know they're light years ahead of me as far as their technical knowledge of how these guys work. I mean, they're just amazing.
Yep.
Okay. I just keep you interested because I keep you laughing. Okay. That's it. So you come to me, I'm the laugh guy. Right. But you come to my other instructors, if they're teaching that day, all right, they're really know their game. And what's really cool about the concealed carry class, a celestial choir.
Yeah, where did that come
Perhaps.
It's somebody's phone, probably.
from?
It's that flip phone.
Can they hear that?
I don't know.
Okay. All right, let's work through it. Let's pretend whatever that noise
hearing
is,
noises, folks.
just never mind.
We'll keep moving forward. Don't get distracted.
We thought it was in a secret. We thought it was in the cone of silence.
That's right.
Right. Next time we're going to use the cone of silence. But what's really cool about the concealed carry, taking it in our range, the first day we give you so much firearm skill, and we actually do a practice qual. So for those people who are worried, I don't know, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Ken's shaky hands.
Yeah. We go ahead at the end of the first day, we do a practice qual, and that way you can go to sleep with peace of mind knowing I'm going to ace this thing tomorrow morning.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then the next day we do holster draw, live draw, shoot. We do the qual, and then everyone can relax for the rest of the day while they learn about all the laws. Now, first day, concealed carry is so much about the gun, we consider it an introduction to handguns. So take our concealed carry, and then you don't have to take an introductory handgun class. You can go right into intermediate handgun. Okay? So you're getting kind of like 2 classes for the price of one. So
I love the concealed carry class. I will always take it if it's offered, and especially with anything like this, because at the end of the day, it's just a refresher course, and it reinvigorates laws that you just don't think about on a daily basis, and questions that you might have, or something that I've spent, however many years thinking about, and I can finally ask the question I want to ask. No question is dumb on there as well. Art has a really funny thing. So I have a quick 2-second story. At the office today. So it's been prank day for like a week in our office. And so I hide a speaker throughout the office randomly. And then I use my phone and put weird sounds through it. So farting sounds and stuff like that. So today, Art hates crickets. And there's always one cricket in the office that's real.
Always, yeah.
And it's just chirping in the background. So I hid it behind the television in our conference room, because we were in a conference room doing all that kind of stuff as well. And so I only put it so quietly. And I had Jessica, who's our dispatcher, running it. So I had they didn't know it was me that planned this whole thing. And I'm not touching anything. I don't have my phone on me, and this cricket's going off. I have watched Art for 2 hours go crazy inside. Trying to find the cricket. No, Art, it is not crickets. No, I'll save that for the office. And then I walked into my office after being in the conference room, and Magda decided that she shredded a whole bunch of paper and laid it all over my desk. So all over my keyboard. So we're just having a prank week and a prank war at our office, which is fun. So it's awesome.
Well, that's fun.
How many Americans legally own firearms? Do we know?
We're at probably 40%. Something like that.
So 40%.
30%. No, I think 30% was the last one.
Right.
Last time. But each one, not all of them, just have one.
One, right. So 3 out of your 10 neighbors, more than likely, have a firearm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, because there's a lot of people in suburbia, right? It's like, oh no, I don't live out in Wintertucky. I don't, hey, I don't live out in the sticks. So I'm right downtown Chicago, or I'm right downtown whatever, and in this high rise, oh no. So literally, right, about 3 out of every 10 of your neighbors owns a firearm.
Yeah,
and it's and you've been comfortable, is what I'm trying to say, around your neighbors, unless they're waving a pistol or something. But
I'm blessed with good neighbors.
Yeah.
I'm really lucky.
Yeah, I got good neighbors too,
and they're good. Not all of them are they gun owners. Well, I won't say, but let's just say I'm blessed by good neighbors.
That's it.
Art brought up a good point, and I will do research on this, Art. And honestly, we probably will never be able to tell, but how many illegal firearms are in the U.S.? Is there a statistic like that? Obviously, if they're illegal, they're not tracked, and the serial numbers are gone, and we don't know if they're out there or not. I wonder if there's a statistic.
Statistia always has good things.
On the amount of guns that have been purchased versus how many are registered versus how many are linked to a person and how many are unknown. But every state has their own laws too, because you don't have to. Some states you don't have to do all the stuff that we have to do in Illinois in terms of background checks and FOID cards and everything else. You just go into your local Walmart, pick up a handgun, tomorrow and do that. And again, Second Amendment right allows us to do that. Illinois doesn't see that. They see that we have to go through a FOID process. And being the legal gun owners that we are, we follow the rules because we have to right now, right?
Yeah, I know that we're getting toward the end of the show, and I'm sure we're going to talk more next week about some of the gun laws and everything. But let me say this about Illinois. I mean, we were born and raised in Illinois. I grew up here before I went overseas, and I came back here, and things are the same. Still the corrupt Chicago mafia running things. I mean, they're still there.
So true.
Nothing is ever going to change, whoever's in charge, and the regulations are never going to change. Okay, regulating. You got a band of elites who think they know better than anybody here. But the thing is, with the guns, we always ask ourselves, what more are they going to do to us? That should be our state motto. What are they going to do to us? Okay, because they're always doing something to us. But they have such draconian laws that we're used to it.
Yep.
When other states are complaining, oh no, universal, background check. Oh
Yep.
my God, they're so scared, and like we're brought up on this. You get a background check. A lot of anti-gunners don't realize it. You get a background check every time you buy a gun. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
folks.
you.
Want to appreciate you for stopping in, getting caught in the net tonight with the Bear Facts on Guns. Remember, if you got questions, you can email them to where?
Derek at the bearfactsonguns.com.
And as a matter of fact, we appreciate and would encourage you to, because I know a lot of you out there have questions and may be afraid to ask them while we're live, but feel free to reach out to either one of these guys.
Thank you.
All right, for all of us, tune in tomorrow, bright and early, 6 a.m. for Mary Catherine's Power Hour playlist. Which one do you turn off first? I don't know.
Is that a wrap?